Joining us now, Jimmy Failla is on the phone, the host of Fox Across America. Sir, it's good to have you with us. Did you happen to make it to White Dudes for Harris last night, or did your invitation
No,
get lost?
no, I want to defend them on one point, okay? They only called it White Dudes for Harris because it had a nicer ring than Losers, And you got to be mindful of the branding, and people are less likely to vibe in if it's called Losers. But calling it White Dudes, they sounded like they had a point. What is so funny about this, okay, is there's two angles that I can't get away from. One is, okay, we're mocking them because they've spent 4 years calling us racist, and now they're having segregated Zoom rallies, as you mentioned, which is hilarious. But it really is segregation in the sense that the implication is, hey, we're white dudes, and we need to, tell our other white friends this is how we can help out the minority community. With the implication being everybody here only has white friends. So it's bigger than a Zoom meeting. And there's that. And then there's just the other notion that some of the big celebrities on the White Dudes for Harris call were telling us 3 weeks ago that Joe Biden had maybe 2 more terms in him.
Right.
So how do you take a guy like Mark Hamill at face value or Jeff Bridges? It's absurd.
Yeah, no, it's totally absurd. And it's pathetic is what it is. Look, I don't go out of my way to get together for like a huge meeting with men about being men. Let's do a conversation about being men. It's so weird. It's like I instantly recoil, and even when it has nothing to do with Kamala Harris, and this one did.
I know, but that's the other part that speaks to just how far out of touch they are with the world we're living in. Like, you know this, I know this. We all have the same needs. There's not a race or a gender that doesn't have the exact same needs. You want to make money, you want to feed your family, you want to feel safe, get a little something, whatever it is you're into. But the point is, it's not unique to any one race. So when they gather under these auspices, it really is just performative stupidity. There's no other way to say it, man.
Yeah.
But it becomes a branding exercise for them. Like, do you remember in the summer of 2020, we were covering these stories, how they were like white cul-de-sac ladies that would bring black women to dinner parties to explain how they were racist.
Yes.
It was like the most bizarre thing. Where they're like sitting around the table like, do me.
Yeah, it's like some sort of like bizarre fetish. It's like a left-wing ideological BDSM dinner. It's like, come over to my house and beat me to death for my whiteness.
It's so weird. Like, pass the gravy. Why's it got to be white gravy? You're like, oh, damn, you're right. You got me. I'm the worst.
It's bizarre. It's totally crazy. All right, so I read the New York Times coverage of the White Dudes rally because I wanted to know, what are they saying on the left about this? And you may not be surprised to know that they actually made excuses for the segregated rally. They claimed that it was poking gentle fun at their whiteness. And they also went out of their way to distance the Harris campaign from the event. They said that the Harris campaign was not involved in planning this event, just so everybody knows. Why would they need to distance Kamala Harris from this event? I thought it was wonderful.
This is my favorite thing about it. Is like they're trying to sell us on the notion that this is all organic. That like 3 months ago we were all covering, are they going to take Kamala off the ticket? And we all said no because of identity politics. But the idea that they were openly speculating as to whether she should even remain on the ticket, and now they want us to believe that in the last week this folk hero has emerged who's just resonating far and wide across the country. It's so absurd. But as you know, they don't manufacture momentum for a good candidate. Okay, they're doing it for her because they have to distance her from everything she's done in government. I mean, I know you covered this last week with the border czar fiasco, and they're pretending she wasn't the border czar. Like I tweeted this: we're a week away from the media claiming she wasn't VP. They're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, and that's the moment we're living in. It's all fake, and it's being led by actors who get paid to fake things. That's what we're watching.
I know. It's so pitch perfect. You're exactly right about that. Among the people on the call was Mayor Pete Buttigieg, known affectionately by the left back in the old primary as Mayo Pete. He is now a part of the White Dudes for Kamala coalition. And here he is talking about the issue of abortion. And he says, abortion's pretty great for men because it gives them all sorts of liberty if they whack their own children. Take a listen.
I'm so glad she has made freedom the theme of her campaign because I think in so many ways that's what's at stake. And yes, women's freedom is Exhibit A after Donald Trump demolished the right to choose. But of course, men are also more free in a country where we have a president who stands up for things like access to abortion care. Men are more free.
I don't know if it could be more perfect than this. So at a segregated rally, Pete Buttigieg declares that men actually have more freedom when their kids get whacked. Does that add up for you?
Oh my gosh. And it's like, you really think about how the Democrats used to position themselves on abortion. I believe the messaging was safe, legal, and rare.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they're actually wearing it like it's a patch they bought at Hot Topic. You know, it's like having a Ramones denim jacket or something. And they don't realize, again, to just regular people, okay, they look so morally bankrupt to make this a centerpiece issue. Like, no, we're going to win because Kamala's on the ticket, and we're just going to have, drive-through abortion or whatever the heck they're going to do to tell you this is more convenient than it would be under the other guy. And I find the whole thing so gross. And, as a comedian, like, I'm on Fox, and I'm basically there because I talk like I get paid in Tide Pods and tequila. Mm-hmm. And I might because I need a better agent. But it's like, it's so funny to watch unintentional hilarity, because that's what this is. It's unintentional hilarity.
Yes.
Even though there was a white women for Kamala thing yesterday that was hosted by a man in a dress. It's like, that's funny, whether they think it is or not. I promise it's funny.
I know. There's a lot of material. There's no question about that. It's stupendous. This idea that they can completely erase Kamala's past and then sell us on this artifice and be like, actually, she's wonderful. She's always been great. She's been wildly successful. She can speak in complete English sentences. Do you think it's sustainable?
No, I think what will ultimately happen is at some point they are going to debate, and we are going to get exposed to her. And I think there's going to be a little more accountability from a policy standpoint. But I think their goal is to control the message as much as humanly possible. We only got 98 days to go. And I think they hope it's sustainable. But I think the reality is it's like the Biden thing. At some point it has to go public. And, just like it did with the debate, she's not going to come off as a likable, warm, good person. Again, this is contrived and manufactured. And the people who taught us it wasn't sustainable are the people shilling for us. I mean, shilling for her. Don't forget, when she was running as a Democrat, at the time she dropped out of the race, she was polling behind ISIS. There's not a world where there's this new Kamala now, and that's the point.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the debates.
Me too.
Whenever the heck they come.
Yeah. And they need to, the Trump campaign, they clearly, to the extent that they can, they need to get her off script. The other thing I've been saying is why wouldn't they just let Kamala be Kamala, Jimmy Failla? Why are they controlling her so much? Why do they keep her so hemmed in? They should just let her be free. Like, she's so capable, as you know, of course. Kamala Harris is a unique political talent. Stop trying to control her. Let her get out there, talk to the people, do the interviews, and be her true self.
Thank you. I mean, I'm ready to donate to her campaign under those auspices and those alone.
I think it'd be great. I was thinking about, that this is not the first time they've attempted this with Kamala Harris. Back when she announced her presidential campaign in 2019, she gave a huge speech in Oakland, and all these people showed up, and it was a big crowd, and the media went gaga for her. They spent weeks talking about how Kamala Harris is the one to beat. She is so marvelous. And what happened to that campaign?
Well, Tulsi Gabbard happened to that campaign. If you force her into a substantive debate, she's got really big problems. And that's the biggest joke of the whole thing, is it's like the people on those white dude Zooms are supposed to be demonstrating that they're an ally to the minority community. But if you're an ally to the minority community, you don't support the candidate who opened the borders and crushed the minority community, whether we're talking about inflation or anything else this administration has been party to. Like, there has never been a more destructive 4 years in our lifetime for the minority community than the last 4 years.
Yes.
And that's the reality of her policies. And it's not like they're out there promising to change them. They're just running on like, fake deliverables. Like, they're calling Republicans weird. That's what we're dealing with now.
Yeah.
But if you can't pay your bills, telling the electric company Republicans are weird isn't going to get you a discount. Never mind that, you're saying this on behalf of a party who told me men were having babies for 4 years.
Yeah, and
which is weird.
And that's the sign. If you're using just weirdness as the way you're going to try and defeat your political opponent, what that means is that you've decided to suspend using any sort of logic to defeat them, and instead defaulted to the strategy of a 13-year-old girl trying to navigate oncomers. Like, you're so weird.
You're so weird. They're so random. You know what I mean, you guys? And like that's what they're doing. And anybody listening to us and wondering why they're doing this needs to watch more Kamala clips, and they'll get it.
Yeah.
Okay. No. It's easier to sell weird than it is to sell her, who is, to be honest with you, anyone who laughs in the middle of a sentence for no reason is kind of weird if we were going to get technical.
No, it's very true. Very, very true. As always, Jimmy Failla, thank you. They should pay you so much better. Really appreciate your time today.
Oh, you're the best, Vince. Thanks.